Threads app out of curiosity, and my curiosity led me to this detailed UX review of the application. Hi friends, I'm Supriya Kasar and welcome to All About UX Writing. Today we are going to do a deep dive into the UX of Threads app. So let's get started. So first let's talk about the app name Threads. The sound th in Threads app is majorly pronounced in English and globally only in 40 locations. And this application is not available in many languages and it is pronounced differently in different languages. This is a disaster. Clearly, the app makers have not considered linguistic diversity while naming the product. Because of this, it is difficult to pronounce the app name Threads across different languages, and this makes it very less accessible and shows poor inclusivity. Next, let's talk about the onboarding experience. The good thing about the onboarding experience is that if you have an Instagram account, you can quickly and easily create a Threads account. However, this is also a problem. You must have an Instagram account to create a Threads account. I mean, why? I want to keep these two platforms separate. Why is this force on me? This strategy limits the user's freedom of choice. I may not have an Insta account, but I may want to start a Threads account. This is called mandatory interoperability of platforms, which brings inconvenience to users and hardly facilitates any competition. Moving on to the thread experience. If you post anything on Twitter, it's called tweet, right? However, if you post anything on Threads, it is called thread. So the app name and the post name is quite similar. I mean, in my opinion, it is quite confusing and not a very great experience. And strangely, in the app content, multiple times threads are called as posts. I mean, it's confusing. Like, you want users to call it as posts or threads. Please be clear. However, the good thing is the content layout is quite similar to Twitter. So it's very easy to use and there is less learning curve. Now moving on to the next feature, start a thread. Well, if you want to start a thread, click the right icon below, which sticks there even if you scroll or go to any other screen except settings. This is good. And when you start a new thread, the input text says start a thread. And at the left bottom, you will see in gray text, anyone can reply. This looks disabled and you will have no idea that there are options under it to select who can reply, like anyone, profiles you follow, and mentioned only. So, the next content issue is when you start a thread, below you will see add to thread, which is disabled. Then why it's there? I see no reason. Also, let's write something. When you post this thread, yeah, now we will open the thread. Below you will find an input text, add to thread. Once you click that, the next input text is reply to the person, and below that it says add another reply. There is no consistency here. If I'm adding to the thread, how can it become a reply to the person suddenly? Either say add to the thread or reply to the person. Clearly, the content lacks clarity and creates a lot of confusion. Next issue is poor categorization logic in actions on threads. So when you click the contextual menu of any thread, the options are mute, hide, block, and report. This categorization logic is quite interesting. If you will see, mute is separated from hide, block, and report. Why? No idea. Another interesting point is you can mute and block a person, right? While you can hide and report a thread. So logically, mute and block should be together and hide and report should be together, right? But that's not the case here. Mute is left out from the other three. At least the categorization should be clear enough to know what I'm muting, a thread or a person. But here clearly the categorization logic is quite poor. Also, poor usage of text colors here. Mute and hide are separated but have black color, while block and report are in red colors. There is again no logic to it. Now, if you will click the contextual menu of your own thread, you will see interesting options there. Who can reply, hide like count, and delete. I mean, why? People do everything on social media to earn likes and comments. So, why would they hide the like count? I want to know this. And if you try sending any thread, you get enough options to confuse you. Add to story, which is not about threads but Instagram. Post to feed, also in Instagram. Tweet on Twitter, then copy link and share via. I know they have tried to make it similar to Insta where you can repost on Facebook. But threads and Insta are used for two different purposes. Now, an important feature, delete the account. So let's see what if you want to delete the threads account. So when you go into account, you will see that strangely, once you open a threads account, you can never delete it. Yes, you heard it right. Threads privacy policy says you can deactivate the threads account, but to delete it, you need to delete your Instagram account. This is clearly an example of one of the dark patterns in designs, that is Roach Motel, where users can easily get into a situation but cannot get out. This is like cheating with users, and that is not at all cool. Another problem is data privacy. One of our fellow writers, Dr. Katharina Grimm, brought to our notice that due to some legal and data privacy concerns, Threads app is not available in the Europe. So you can see they have not considered data privacy, legalities, or confidentiality of information while making the Threads app, and that is not acceptable. Next problem is confusing and unclear content. Overall, the content is quite okay in most cases. They have handled errors, confirmation messages quite well. However, in some cases, the content is very confusing and unclear. So let's see an example of it. So if you click the mute option, the content says mute XYZ. So you will think you are muting the person who started the thread, but the CTS says mute posts. Confusing, right? So the content is not clear enough to make users understand whether they are muting the person or their threads. And the last but very important issue is accessibility. The app makers have not considered accessibility. I'm not sure why still today accessibility is taken so lightly. Threads lacks alt text to describe images for users who have trouble seeing them. If you don't add it, your app is not accessible to over a billions of users globally. Anyway, that was a detailed UX review of Threads app. I know we were getting a picky here, and it's very easy to judge a new app. Also, it's essential to acknowledge that even apps with good UX writing have areas of improvement. So we can hope that Threads will improve its UX, and it will be interesting to see how this Threads app make its way into the digital world. Thank you for joining me today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel all about UX writing. Till next time, bye bye. Happy writing!